Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We start on the daily chart only briefly here. We can see that we have the white wave count that could still be in the making, but that has not, or that the price has not pushed above the recent highs that we've been observing here between the 8th of August, the 11th of August, the 14th of August and yesterday. So these are sort of swing highs that need to be broken. The price is still holding its position below the 61.8 retracement. And while the price pushed a little bit higher yesterday, the overall bearish scenario highlighted here in yellow, it is pretty much still valid. It is not necessarily what I prefer, but it is highly likely. There are no actual percentage figures, you know, some people like to see those, you know, I can make them up, it doesn't help anybody. Point is, a drop into the lower support region, possibly into the mid 40k region, is still likely, but it requires a break below micro support levels on our 1 hour chart, which we are tracking every single day, and so far these are holding. So that means we are focusing on higher in the short term based on the white microstructure, which could be a diagonal pattern, which cannot be trusted, however, until we have all 5 waves completed. So again, doesn't mean you couldn't trade those moves, you can, just be careful. And we can really only expect further upside, because I always avoid the word expect, but we can really only expect further upside when we have a first 5 wave move to the upside. In this entire rally from the 5th of August low, there haven't been any 5 wave movements to the upside. So it's really like chopping through no man's land, you know, it's nearly like that. So we have to be on our toes. We have to be aware what are the relevant support levels, especially only on the micro really, right? The bigger picture is clear, that hasn't changed, you know, that hasn't changed at all. We're still in this overall range. We might have bottomed in wave 4 on the 5th of August. We might see another low, but if we see one more low or not will be determined on the smaller time frame. We see the break of support levels first on the shorter time frames. So let's switch to that. Before we do that though, the white wave count would be the scenario that takes us to a new all-time high, right? Possibly to 90 to 100k next. And then we have to take it from there. But first of all, we are very much focused on if the market can, that's the main question on this chart now, are the bulls strong enough to generate a 5 wave pattern to the upside in circle wave 1? And then circle wave 2 would be an adequate, let's say, pullback trade setup. Let's go to the 1 hour chart, or 30-minute chart even. Not too much happened yesterday. We had another push to the upside, but price movements aren't crazy. They are not crazy. We had a break above this trend line though. That was the trend line I highlighted in my first video yesterday, where I highlighted we are watching this trend line. And yeah, okay, what are the movements here? So we're still tracking this diagonal pattern, you know it. It's only that the move through resistance yesterday, or not through resistance, through the trend line, above the trend line, and the extent of the move has allowed me to add another micro support region, which is defined between 60,202 and 59,404. So I'm going to zoom in a minute, but the overall look of this diagonal pattern hasn't changed at all. If you watched the video a few days ago, it was exactly the same. So wave 1 to the upside, wave 2 to the downside. We could be in a third wave that should still reach 66,880. Now, very careful. I don't say I expect the price to get there, but this is what a third wave should do. So I'm very much watching for it. That's not the same as me expecting it. I'd like to see it. Okay, that's also not the same as me expecting it, because I'm not expecting anything in the diagonal, okay? So we have to expect the unexpected. That's a very, very important mindset, I think, in these diagonal patterns. Literally anything can happen, but we can watch the relevant parameters on the micro level to understand if we're still on track to getting there. It should get there. If it's a third wave in the white count, but it doesn't have to be the third wave in the white count. It could be the yellow count that I just showed you on the daily chart, which we are currently working on a wave 2 corrective rally, which might see a breakdown, right? But for now, we're focusing on higher as long as we are above micro support, which means we are in this third wave in the white count. as long as we're holding support levels. And again, it's an A, B, C structure. We could be in the C wave to the upside. This C wave to the upside might have started in this low area, in this swing low here, around the 19th of August. That was the Monday low, okay, when the price started to rally here. And we only have a 3-wave move up in my interpretation. Surely you can interpret that in different ways. This is really just a micro perspective. My view might change. This is on the 30-minute chart. I could also imagine that's just another idea I have, that this is some kind of a B wave pullback. We go down a little lower. But that's where we have 2 support areas, right? So we have the first one between 60,202 and 59,404. That's the main one I'm watching today. And I am watching for possibly further upside trend continuation. If we, for example, see a break above this trend line, got 3 touch points there, maybe even here. That might even be more relevant, more or less. So let's say this one, yeah? Getting a break above this trend line could indicate further upside trend continuation. At the same time, I'm waiting to see if the market does react to the support area. We don't need to get there. And maybe I should show the 23.6 fib level as well. It's just, these are the relevant support levels in this possible wave 4 where the market could react. And it starts at 60,702. I don't really have enough microstructure in the correction to say exactly where we are. But as long as we're holding, and that's very simple, as long as we're holding above 59,404, we could see one more rally in wave 5 of C of 3. So the main benefit of the microstructure is not that the market needs to follow every little wave. It's more like we get the relevant support levels, okay? Which means today I'm watching this support area and I'm watching the upside breakout trend line. And overall, what happens if we break below 59,404? Well, we would probably visit the lower support region. That's why it's on the chart. It's still relevant between 57,900 and 58,121. This could offer support next. But a break below the upper support region will require a reinterpretation of the micro count. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.